Okay, here we go. This is the new BIOSHOCK Infinite video. 10 years later, after this game has been released, I'm going to shed a little bit of light on my personal history with the game and explain how I celebrate this game. For my birthday, we were going to Blackpool. The day before, though, on Sunday, I was able to get all my presents. And I played a little bit of Doom Eternal, which I was into at the time. And then we went up to Blackpool. You actually saw a video about this, you can check it out. Basically, I had a lot of fun up there and got to buy a lot of cool things. At the time, I was into games like Resident Evil and even getting into the Uncharted series. And basically, I just had a lot of fun there. I even had an idea for an original version of Danny Brooks, which had fairy tale characters, but after finding it Infinite, I decided to quit that. It was a lot of fun, and after I came back from, Blackpool, I waited for DC Fandom, which is something I was excited for. A lot of things were going on, and I also downloaded Silent Hill on my PlayStation. I was also working on another Joshua's film at the time. But then everything changed. I watched a lot of pyrocynical videos at the time, and I still do actually to this day. But one time when I was watching one of his longer videos, the Far Cry 3 video, there was a clip that popped up that basically made me really interested.
This is all enabled by the amazing voice and motion capture of Michael Mando. In a lot of games, characters that are motion...
My curiosity peaked with this when I saw this. I actually didn't know what the game was or what it was called, so I decided to look up what the book said, and it said Lutece. So I looked up the Lutece on, YouTube, but I was too tired, so I decided to go to bed. The next morning, though, I decided to check it out on my phone while I was to go somewhere. And my God, I was stuck looking at my phone for that entire day. I was watching for the entire of the game, and then I eventually bought it. I was so excited to play this game because I just fell in love with it. It was so good. I played it, and I was just drawn to it. And then Halloween came up. I dressed up as Peace from Wizards, and I actually got a like from the director on Twitter. That was awesome. But I was also playing the game that day. I just replayed through all of it and basically really enjoyed it. I feel for the characters, but also this is where something's kind of led to this. Well, a lot of my friends had me over to have like little meetups. Sometimes I wouldn't really go because I was actually working on something. The game inspired me so much that I decided to write my own book, also from this influences of Vertigo Comics and Constantine. But that wasn't the only problem. The book was also written because I didn't like the ending of Infinite. It made me feel really depressed, and I legit felt depression in one of the places I was in. So I basically wrote the book as a snare up, but I still couldn't really cope. I even bought another version of the game that was a complete edition, which came with the Burrow at Sea DLCs. But I barely got through the DLCs because it just made me feel more depressed. And then basically Christmas came along, and I actually got like the BIOSHOCK collection. And I also got some other things, like basically pop vinyls from the game. And that was a lot of fun. I basically played the game through Christmas, and basically on New Year's Eve I finished the first game, and I liked that one a lot. I was also buying some more merchandise, like the BIOSHOCK Infinite art book, which I'll get into a bit in a few minutes later, and also this really, really cool lunchbox. Other things was also the figures of Booker, Elizabeth, and a Big Daddy. I still have them, and I really, really like them. I also bought the original BIOSHOCK and BIOSHOCK 2 for the PlayStation 3, because I actually wanted to check it out. For instance, I like the first one, and I'm not a big fan of the second one. Besides that, the Danny Brooks book was getting along quite well, and basically, we're still working on it. Though production has halted on the book, I am still working on something with Danny Brooks and Joe. Well, that's what she's called in the book. Or something like basically what the book is. It's kind of like the happy ending a bit of what happens to Infinite. It's not really like it's stealing Elizabeth from the game and I put it into this. It's kind of like not like fan fiction, but kind of this thing where the characters kind of they'll like Elizabeth and all that, and basically this is like an alternate kind of thing with that. But also there's a lot of things that I like that with some commentary, but you'll have to see that if I get the book out. But yeah, as for other things, yeah, I am a big fan of Infinite. But let's get back to the art book. This is also when I discovered that even though this is the 10-year anniversary, a lot of people are going to be a bit mixed on the anniversary of this. Even though Infinite had got great reviews and still is loved by a lot of people, it has got a lot of flack recently and not as well received as the second game. A lot of people have been saying that it's the worst game. and based in the series, and it was a disappointment. Also, telling the fact that it was not as good as the demos showed it off to be, being seen as a downgrade. But to my personal take of this, the demo, it would have been good to see what the demos had in store, maybe with a different ending. But the game we got still is amazing, and it is still one of my favourite games of all time, because of what it tackles and the themes and the characters. Another thing I would say is that basically, Burial at Sea sucks. From 2008, which I've already pointed out in a video of this, it's because after 2008, that basically they had a lot of passion to make this game. And now those years have passed, and now it's 10 years later after it. I'm looking back on Infinite and seeing it as, like, even though it is really depressing that this has now just got this 10 years have passed already. It's the fact that basically the game still works to this year, on my eyes, and even a lot of people that still like the game. And even people that haven't played it in a while, you might even still remember it as this was a big deal coming out. This game was considered to be one of the big games of that year, up there with The Last of Us, GTA, hell, even Arkham Knight. So it is good that this game did come out and was well received. But with it now being here and having other games like The Last of Us being adapted into a TV show, is that one's sequel? Wait a minute, no, never mind. But basically that happening, and basically other stuff like with GTA still being as popular as ever, this game still deserves to be not as badly received, because, to be honest, even though the time travel logic still doesn't work, there still is a lot to praise about this game. It still is one of my favourites. Elizabeth was supposed to got me into the game, and it wasn't just because it was like, oh, she's hot and all that. No, it wasn't. For me, I was just like, oh, that's beautiful. What is this game? And it was the steampunk equivalent that brought me to like the game even more. Plus of that, we wouldn't have had the book that I was going to make. The book that I've written is a lot. There's a lot of books of it. There's probably like six issues of it. But besides that, I really do hope that this game gets a lot more respect than it has, because the fact that people have been giving it is that saying it's the weakest. It isn't the weakest. There is probably no bad BioShock game. It's like those Cornetto trilogy. This one is technically it's still like the weakest. It's not the worst though of the series. Trust me, Burial at Sea is way worse. But as in for Infinite, my personal experience with the game is that I legit like just seeing Pyro's video, and also actually having seen a bit of the game before, a video about BioShock Infinite. Well, not BioShock Infinite. Well, Nostalgia Critic. It brought me to basically to bring up the fact that, to be honest, the themes that it tackles is that, plus I'm a British person and I don't really like a lot of America, which is a thing that's a personal gripe to me. I like how the game was just like, it came out, I found it at the right time, and I still love it to this day, and it has inspired me a lot. Now that this Maximum Multiverse film is coming out, which I'm actually nearly finished, I basically want to just mention that this game is really, like, big for me, and how, like, I lost for words here, but the game is basically what people have for, like, I don't know, like The Last of Us or GTA. It's their favorite, like, your favorite game of all time. This is mine, and I want to celebrate it. And I basically, like, as in for the political reception that it gets, I feel like it's a bit much. And I do feel kind of bad that not everyone likes the same thing as someone does. And you probably felt like that before. Like, some people don't like the thing that you like, even though you want it to, like, you know that it's really good inside. Unless you're a bad movie or a bad game, which is only your opinion, and people can't really agree with that. But as in for this, at least people can understand that this is no Sonic 06. This is a legit good game. But as in for other things, I like this game because it got me into more games. When I found out about Infinite, I decided to play a lot more. I bought The Last of Us, GTA, Dishonored, Borderlands. Bought all those games because I was interested in the world of gaming because of storytelling. This game really got me into storytelling. Ryan Hollinger did a video about The Last of Us recently, so that it was one of his favourite games of all time, and feels like it was so deep and rich. This is that for me. Infinite is my thing, and I even commented on this video that the thematic things between both Elizabeth and Booker is similar to Joel and Ellie. Hell, one of the actors is the same, Joel Troy Baker. But yeah, as in for this, I really hope that this game gets a lot more respect, because I've done like videos upon this, and it's really so to me. So So I bet it's turning 10 years old now, and I got to share what my personal experience was at the time where I was at, and how like this game was so much special to me. And I can't wait to see because I heard because Judas is coming out, and I hope that game is a lot more gets a lot more like praise. Because as in for the gaming community we're in right now, I feel it's kind of a mixed bag. PlayStation 5 and all that, but there's a lot of games that's just very similar. So there's stuff like God of War, but as if for some things that, like, there's not really that many games on the new PlayStation that I'm starting to feel like, yeah, that's why I bought that console. And I hope that basically, and I know the first-person shooter games are getting a lot of derivativeness because all of them are like the exact same, the immersive sim. I hope that Ken Levine can bring back something that he captured with BioShock and made me love Infinite. Because I love Infinite more than the original BioShock because it was characters. I legit did feel depression because of, like, Elizabeth, like, the Paris and all that. Because when I saw, like, I always used to watch that moment, and my favourite scene from it, as I've explained, is when they're at the dogs, and basically, even though Booker's lying to her, it's good to see her happy. And, like, it's that kind of thing where, like, you feel for a character and you want to see them get to where they want to go. And that's something that I want to try and do with my work. So, it's the thing about kind of people that, like, you care for. You want to see them get there. As in for other things, I do think that, as in for something, elements that are a bit iffy. There's not like a knowledge that the time travel thing is a bit weird and how it doesn't fit. But to be honest, if there's a city underwater where there's these big things where you can get electrified, like how come time travel is not a bad thing? It's like the Indiana Jones films. Dude, aliens are obviously going to appear in. No one's going to have time travel. What do you expect? And basically, it's like the whole thing about parallel universes and constant variables is a very interesting idea. Things being the exact same no matter what. It's a very depressing idea, but also it was a very interesting idea. As in for that, I legit love this game. I love the themes, I love the world, I love the steampunk aesthetic, and this is what helped me inspire Danny Brooks. Danny Brooks is nothing like Infinite though. There are some elements kind of like there's something like world kind of same, but it's not like it's the exact same story. It's not a rip off of that. It does its own thing. But yeah, just letting you know that because the vet will come out soon. Just need to continue working it. But I've been working on the Maximum Multiverse film, and still I'm working on it. They'll come out in July. But as in for this, I legit feel like this game was really special to me, and I really want to thank it for like this. And I hope everyone celebrates it turning 10 years old now, and how like the game is legit to me, and I love the worlds, love the characters. Even though Booker is not a nice guy, there is some good moments with him. And I feel kind of it wasn't that bad. That's like even though he's a bad person, it's kind of like how Joel, it's Ellie at the end to be his daughter and all that. It's that kind of thing that I wanted kind of with Booker as well. But besides that, it is still one of my favorite games, and I will play it like tons of times again. And now that it's 10 years old, I actually hope that even though some of its opinion is soured on it, you can still look at it as a great game and thank it for it being there, and basically thank it for getting made. So yeah, this is me on BIOSHOCK Infinite, and I'm gonna leave off with another moment from the game, and I might just play the same clip. So yeah, 10 years anniversary of BIOSHOCK Infinite.
Hey, miss it. Miss? Could you just... Hey, I need you to stop. Hey, Miss Elizabeth.
Hello. Oh, this is wonderful. Well, come dance with me, Mr. Dwayne.
I don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Why? What could be better than this?
How about Paris?
Paris? I don't understand. How could we get there?
That's where that airship's going, but if you want to stay and dance, we can...
No, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go right now.